Kaduna State is at the forefront in enforcing interstate travel restriction towards containing the spread of coronavirus pandemic. But worrisome are the figures coming from the authorities concerning cases of persons with travel history who test positive for COVID-19. How to curb the inflow of such persons and halt the trend of infection through effective synergy among stakeholders is our focus on Panorama today. Thanks for joining us. My name is Zulay Muhammad.
I wish to once again commend the frontline workers across the country who, on a daily basis, risk everything to ensure we win this fight. For those who got infected in the line of duty, rest assured that government will do all it takes to support you and your families during this exceedingly difficult period. I will also take this opportunity to assure you all that your safety, well-being, and welfare remains paramount to our government. I am using this opportunity to express our deepest condolences to the families of all Nigerians that have lost their loved ones as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. This is our collective loss, and we share your grief.
The Nigeria Center for Disease Control, NCDC, on Saturday, the 16th of May, confirmed 176 new cases of COVID-19 and 5 deaths in Nigeria. The 176 new cases are reported in 14 states, with Lagos recording 95 new cases. Oyo has 31 new cases, while FCT has 11. Niger and Borno states record 8 new cases each. Jigawa has 6 new cases, and Kaduna with 4 new cases. 3 new cases were recorded in Anambra, while Edo, Rivers, Nasarawa, and Bauchi states have 2 new cases each. Benue and Zamfara record 1 new case each. Based on the data from NCDC, Nigeria has a total of 5,621 confirmed cases of COVID-19, with 1,472 discharged and 176 deaths. In furtherance of his commitment to the security and stability of West African sub-region, President Muhammadu Buhari is reassuring Guinea-Bissau of Nigeria's continued support for genuine effort at achieving peace and sustainable development. This was while granting audience to the country's President Umaru Sissoco Embalo, who paid a one-day visit to Nigeria. State House correspondent Adamu Sambu reports.
Visiting Nigeria for the 4th time since his election on the 1st of January this year, President Umaru Sissoco Embalo of Guinea-Bissau is the first head of state to be received by President Muhammadu Buhari amidst the coronavirus pandemic.
You know, me with President Buhari, we don't have the relation between two presidents. It's the son and the father. This kind of relation I have with Baba. And for me, in this situation or another situation, I can come to see greet my father. That's why I'm here.
So what have you come to tell him?
Just the situation in Guinea-Bissau.
Indeed, the situation in Guinea-Bissau dominated discussions behind closed doors between the two leaders that lasted more than 1 hour. Nigeria played a significant role in stabilizing the political and security situation in the West African country, which faced serious threat of disintegration following disputed elections. President Buhari's Nigeria was equally amongst the first ECOWAS countries to formally recognize Embalo's presidency on coming to power on February 27 this year. The highly appreciative President Embalo is now in the process of forming a government of national unity in Guinea-Bissau and once again needs the support of the Nigerian leader.
The highlights was essentially that, getting the support of, Mr. President before he formally presents his anti-corruption program, which he's launching, and he wants to follow Mr. President's footsteps on that, and then also changing the constitution and bringing all the parties together for a government of national unity.
So what did the President tell you?
the president assured him that Nigeria was going to be behind him and that he, Mr. President, is always available to give him advice and to support him in any way possible, because he, Mr. President, believes in the stability of all the countries of the West African region, and that he, Mr. President, would not spare any effort in ensuring that there's stability, political stability in Guinea-Bissau, and to really give all the support to also enable economic development.
Before his election, the 47-year-old President Umaru Sissoco Embalo served as army chief as well as prime minister of his country between 2016 and 2018. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
Well, President Muhammadu Buhari has restated his position that Nigeria will indeed listen to science before additional or new medicine to be administered to the nation's citizen as cure for coronavirus. The president made this known at the meeting with President Umaru Sissoco Embalo of Guinea-Bissau. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo again reports.
The Presidential Task Force on COVID-19, led by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, had informed the nation that a consignment of Madagascan coronavirus cure donated to Nigeria and other West African countries had been shipped to Guinea-Bissau. On a one-day private visit to Nigeria, that country's president, Umaru Sissoco Embalo, brought along with him samples of the traditional medicine as shared to African nations by Madagascar. President Muhammadu Buhari said his position on all such herbal or traditional medicinal postulates had remained the same. Nigeria, he said, has institutions, systems, and processes capable of verifying any such formulations. He emphasized that without the required endorsement by such institutions, his administration will not allow any such native postulation against COVID-19 be put to use in the country. Efforts are being intensified towards flattening the curve and ultimately containing the pandemic. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
Persons are said to be vulnerable to coronavirus pandemic. To reduce the hardship posed by COVID-19 and give this group of persons a sense of hope, the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development has flagged off distribution of palliatives to all the persons in Karji area of the FCT. Ruth Aguele reports.
They may have seen many decades, but what the world is facing today is one that is new to some of them.
Kasan me cutan da ake kira coronavirus?
To, ina jin suna haɗi. Ina ji ana haɗin coronavirus.
Ali Bako may not know the exact name for the virus, but he is very much aware of his present condition. As a retired security guard, coping with his 2 wives and 11 children during this period has not been easy. But today, luck shines on him. Variety of food items and wrappers, well packaged for this special group of persons. It is the flag of palliatives to be distributed to all the persons in Karshi area of the FCT by the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development as part of its COVID-19 response outreach to help reduce the effect of the pandemic on the vulnerable.
It's targeted about 500 beneficiaries. It's going to be distributed amongst the 6 area councils within the FCT. And also psychologically, they will feel that government really cares about them and is coming to their aid to support them, especially during this very difficult period.
We believe that it will go a long way to help older persons who have been at this time affected more than every other person.
Beyond the weight of the food items on their heads, for these older persons, it is a new dawn, irrespective of the gloomy outlook posed by the coronavirus pandemic. In Abuja, Ruth Aguela, NTA News.
We take a break right now. Panorama continues shortly. Do stay.
Fellow Nigerians, follow the instructions on social distancing. The irresponsibility of the few can lead to the death of many. Your freedom ends where other people's rights begin. The security agencies have risen to the challenges posed by this unprecedented situation with gallantry, and I commend them. I urge them to continue to maintain utmost vigilance, firmness, as well as restraint in enforcing the restriction orders while not neglecting statutory security responsibilities.
Thanks for rejoining us. The National Directorate of Employment, NDE, in Kaduna is mass-producing face masks as part of efforts to curb community transmission of COVID-19 in the state. Ahmed Umar Kudan reports that selected women and youths are taking part in training for the project.
Kaduna State government, in line with public health measures, has made wearing of face masks compulsory to minimize the transmission of COVID-19 in the state. Being one of the essentials in the fight against the pandemic, face masks is therefore in high demand. 50 women and youth, Aliyu Zongo and Muhammad Lawal Ashpa inclusive, are currently undergoing training by the National Directorate of Employment for production of 20,000 face masks in Kaduna.
It's a very good initiative because the international world has recommended this initiative.
We are happy with the program and we hope people will use the face masks to protect themselves.
The state NDE coordinator Sani Mewada says the agency will continue to create jobs for Nigerians despite the lockdown.
We will give them all the wrappers, the rubber, all it takes. Their level is just 20 wrappers, so they are going to benefit from that, apart from the training.
The COVID-19 training and production of face masks is in collaboration with the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning. The face masks will be distributed free of charge, and for Aliyu and Muhammad, the training has made a difference in their lives. In Kaduna, Ahmad Umar Kudan, NT News.
Putting on the face mask is one of many ways COVID-19 has changed the way people live in recent times. In Kaduna State, this development comes with extra implications, health and legal-wise. Major Madamu tells us how.
It is a free day in Kaduna State for the people to restock on food and other essentials. It is a day that must be maximally utilized for the quarantine law in Kaduna State spares no one, with the governor personally on the front line of implementation. One of the essentials attracting high volume of patronage is the face mask.
This face mask, I feel it very, very important. Why? Because if at least our people, they will be fully and well mobilized and accept the importance of this face mask, it will definitely reduce the mode of transmission of this very coronavirus infection.
It's very nice, it's very good. If you use it, you can protect yourself and also protect others.
It is a matter of brisk business for the tailoring industry, for the bulk dealers and for the roadside retailers, as its value chain stretches beyond business to safeguarding human lives against the infiltration of COVID-19.
The face mask prevents those droplets from coming out and the aerosol that also comes out from our perspiration, our breathing, and even when you sneeze or when you cough, the face mask serves as a barrier.
Another reason face mask tops the scale of preference of people in Kaduna State is the legal implication of making it a foregone alternative. The courts are mobile, with security operatives around places to ambush violators and hound them for prosecution.
Anybody who is seen outside without his face mask, not wearing face mask, is entitled to pay the sum of 5,000 naira as fine.
Stay safe, stay home. But if you must come out for any reason, put on your face mask. In Kaduna, Maijama Adamu, NTA News.
Majority of COVID-19 positive cases in Kaduna State have travel history. a worrisome scenario that leaves the authorities with no option but stringent measures in enforcing the interstate travel restrictions. Muhammad Umar Rajingi takes a look at the efforts being made in the state towards minimizing the inflow of people to the state and guard against further transmission of the virus.
From the onset, Kaduna State government did not mince words about its all-fronts war against the COVID-19, being the first state to resort to total lockdown sequel to gross violation of the partial lockdown earlier imposed across the states. The efforts of the government are, however, undermined by influx of potential carriers of the virus from neighboring states, with far worse cases of the disease, especially with rising figures of confirmed cases traced to such neighboring states. Identified entry points to the state through Kano, Abuja, Plateau, Katsina, and Nasarawa states were consequently sealed up, with deployment of security personnel and top officials of government. The State Deputy Governor and head of the Standing Committee on COVID-19, Dr. Hadiza Balarabi, has since become a familiar visitor to these boundaries, as our interstate agency team seeks stiffer enforcement of the ban on interstate travel.
We had to turn people back to where they were coming from, especially those who were not exempted, from the order. So it's been really very hectic, and I hope and pray that going forward, the people will know that all what is happening is in the best interest of everybody.
This assertive doggedness of the committee recorded further boost, with Governor Nasir Ahmad El-Rufai personally embarking on surprise visits to some of the boundary lines to monitor developments.
Virtually all the cases we've had in Kaduna have been from other states. So we have a duty to ensure that the sacrifice of Kaduna State people is not in vain and keep everyone out. So this is why I'm here, and I will be here from time to time. From 6 p.m. we close our borders. No vehicle will be allowed to pass. Any vehicle that comes to this border with Kano will have to spend the night because the road will be completely blocked.
With isolation facilities at designated locations to quarantine visitors into the state, mobile courts busy convicting defaulters and stiffer enforcement of the interstate travel ban, Kaduna State government believes the fight against coronavirus is winnable. In Kaduna, I am Muhammad Umar Rajingi, NTA News.
Muhammad Umar Rajingi's report, they are giving us an idea of what is happening in Kaduna State. And to talk more on this and more is Babangida Abdullahi Dutima. He is the commandant, the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, Kaduna State Command. Welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you very much indeed.
Yeah. So you've watched the report where we've seen the deputy governor, the commissioner, the governor himself, and you from time to time going to some of these borderlines to ensure that people don't come into the state as part of restrictions to curtail the transmission of COVID-19. What has been your experience on the field so far?
Thank you so much for this great opportunity. Immediately this order was given by Mr. President, our Commandant General, directed us that we have to mobilize ourselves to ensure that we have put in our best to ensure that the interstate movement has been restricted. What I did was I have the capacity of about 3,000 officers throughout the state, and I was able to engage everyone. From myself down to the last officer we have are all engaged. In this period, I was able to visit all the 23 local governments of the state, particularly the borders that link up Kaduna State with other states. Like Abuja, Nasarawa, Plateau, Katsina, and Kano. I want to specifically tell you that when I was in the border between Katsina and Kaduna, that is Kodan area, in Kodan local government, we were able to return over 1,500 vehicles back to where they have come from. And this is a great achievement, and that is how it is almost everywhere. Like you have heard from the Deputy Governor, the Commissioner for Internal Security, and the Governor himself that everybody hands is now on deck. They move out, we also move out to ensure that we have given our best. What we really appreciate in Kaduna is, not because I'm the commandant, I really appreciate my staff. They are highly committed and they are all ready to commit and sacrifice their time and their life to ensure that what we can give out to ensure that these laws are strongly stand on, we have been doing that.
All right, like you just mentioned that you appreciate the officers and men of the NSCDC and trying to ensure that these things are like properly adhered to. But now we have a situation, from what we hear, most cases of COVID-19 in Kaduna State has a history of travel. How do these people come in? What is the problem, despite all the measures that has been taken to curtail this? You know, Nigerians are very intelligent. No matter what step or action you have taken to ensure that the law is followed, they also create their own avenues. What we are able to understand, people were able, particularly the commercial drivers, were able to establish illegitimate routes, which they are coming through most of our villages that are not linked up with the major roads. All the major roads have been properly manned, and even today, I want to tell you that the HA has directed the border between Kaduna and Plateau State are properly blocked with heavy blocks that no one can move, maybe without the use of machines. But I want to tell you that still people are, you know, Nigerians are very intelligent and they are very wise. They will always want to ensure that they achieve what they want at the time they need it. The traditional institution must have to come in, because they know the terrains and they have to provide intelligence information to us. What is important is whenever we get an intelligence information, we rush. That's why we have all our offices everywhere. We have local government division offices, we have outposts, that most of the wards we have our main. Both the police, the DSS and what have you, almost have our main all around. And we have been using them to ensure that whatever intelligence information we gather, we immediately give them directives to move toward that. Actually, that is a major problem, the creation of illegal routes, which are being identified. The Ministry of Internal Security and Home Affairs is doing everything possible to identify those areas and also to give us a first-hand information so that we can immediately mobilize our men to ensure that every angle is blocked. All right, sir. Talking about information that you get, intelligence information that you get. I've heard that, I don't know how true it is, but I want to ask if you've heard as well that some of these commercial vehicle drivers, they've upped their transport fare. So what they do is to buy their way in such places where there are officers that will stop them. And some even claim that they have officers that sit in front of the passenger seat, and then when they flash their ID cards to their colleagues, they are made to just go. Have you heard that? So not so exactly, because all I know is if I had such a case, I must have known. And not because, you know, sometimes you cannot just blow your trumpet, but I want to tell you that my office have not been engaged, and even other security agencies, we are not aware of that. What we believe that anybody that is found doing that, I think is liable to be sacked. We received direct order from our Commandant General that anybody who is found facilitating any crime, we should immediately, without even making consultation, ensure that that man is sent out of this job. And that is what exactly we are doing. So far, so good. We have never received any such report. I think that should be good enough to keep them on their toes. And talking about collaboration with other stakeholders, how would you describe your collaboration with other enforcement agencies? In Kaduna, it is quite impressive, just like you have seen in the report. Wherever you see the security agents, you see us in full. The police, the army, the DSS, and our officers. We work together on understanding as a family, and that is what makes us to be succeeding in Kaduna State. And I don't regret that the synergy is excellently being mobilized with the assistance of the state government behind us. All right. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you so much for enlightening us on what is happening with the NCDC in a bid to curtail the spread of COVID-19 in the state. Thank you so much for this great opportunity. I really appreciate you all. You're welcome, sir. You're still watching Panorama on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority, and I was speaking to Babangida Abdullahi Dutema. He is the Commandant, NCDC Kaduna State Command. And moving on, in spite of schools closure in Kano State due to coronavirus pandemic, educational activities are still ongoing as students continue with their normal lessons through the radio. Muhammad Rabiu Ali examines how the exercise is impacting on students, especially prospective candidates for WAEC and NECO.
We have what? 331 centimeters of height.
Barely 7 weeks, all public and private schools in Kano State were closed down, a step to prevent the spread of COVID-19 and ensure every child is safe. Although the session is not yet over, but steps taken by Kano State government in ensuring students are receiving lessons from home through the radio, experts say is a welcome development.
Similarities between gravitational and magnetic field. All right.
You want to know more about the similarities between gravitational and magnetic fields? Well, if you were together with us, hearing from what the students are, the questions coming from students shows much that they are very much ready and they are around their radio and they are happy.
Fatima Abubakar, a student from Kano Model Secondary School, says she has been following the program when covered most part of the school curriculum.
We are picking by the subject and the topics that the teachers are teaching us. I hope that the lesson should continue because we are getting it very well.
We are at home, but we learn many things.
I assure you that this program will last, will continue until the end of this situation.
For the likes of Fatima Abubakar and hundreds of other students, they said the exercise is worth the while. Muhammad Rabiu Ali, NTA News.
Providing technical support to COVID-19 response in Kano is one of the key mandates of the ministerial task force sent to the state. Another is the training of frontline workers in handling emergencies. Abdullahi Mustafa, who was among the participants at the training session on prevention and safety for media workers, now reports.
Are not trained to examine or treat patients, but media workers are in the front line of response to the COVID-19 pandemic. This informs the partnership of the ministerial task team and Kano State government to organize a training session on prevention and safety of journalists against the disease.
Is to see how we can further build synergy between the media and medical practitioners in Kano State.
As the health workers are vulnerable, the journalists too are vulnerable.
Section 22 of Nigerian Constitution, Your Excellency, gives us the mandate to serve as the watchdogs of the society.
Presentations, therefore, were on what is COVID-19, risk communication, safe media, as well as infection prevention and control.
We will also train doctors on how to talk to journalists.
We are educating people and we need to know what it's about.
Participants at the training session were drawn from electronic and print media organizations across Kano State. In Kano, Abdullahi Mustafa, NTA News.
And that's Panorama for today. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe.